Once upon a time, there was a cottage of the storybook variety. I knew it on sight, even though I never knew to look for it. The little structure seemed to always find me, when I would find myself wandering over terrain of land or life that was inhospitable, when every trail or path led to its mouth or its own tail. When I was ready to lose myself in the fear or mundaneness, in the illusion of looping endlessly, lost. There, over a small hill, it would be. In perfect clarity of that moment, I would know somewhere, somehow, that it was not the first time I would open that gate, that would creak at the last movement. I would know every time that there would be a gaggle of disinterested geese, and beyond the door, two sisters, always of an indeterminate age, would be there to greet me, along with a fresh batch of curious and vaguely violent kittens. Always a feeling of gratitude and nostalgia for a place I could never find or remember, unless I was completely and hopelessly lost. I would, and always would, smile, hoping that they would remember me, that they would say their names since I could not remember. Though I always knew the red tabby who had a fondness for my lap was Aristotle. He jumps up as the two girls weave intricate circles around each other with kettles and biscuits in hand. Aristotle seems to like you. You may not remember, but he's had a fondness for you since you were a girl. Bleeding knees from briars, and a dress torn 2 sizes too small. I remember, I believe. It sits just behind my back tooth, swirling with something that tastes a bit like truth. He was smaller then. I believe you were as well. She hands me a cup that Aristotle and I both sniff. The tea smelled like the roses in my grandmother's garden and went down smooth. Aristotle stretches and offers the back of his ear for scratches. The other, the girl with the hair to her waist, takes my cup. They look over each other's shoulder, tracing the herbs at the bottom. Look how the rosemary cusps the rose's hip. 2 pairs of eyes stare most unsettlingly over the cusp. Poor little mite, says one. She's quite young this time, says the other. Yes. See how her soul is barely settled? You can see it. It's right there, behind the left eye. My fingers fly to the cheek. They smile. My shoulder is patted and my lap is warm, and there's a book in my hand. I remember it only as my fingers move over the topography of the cover, with no title, no author, no byline to mar the leather. When I touch the pages thick and textured, I can feel the ghost of what it had been before it was ever dreamed, before it could imagine that it would be cut, formed, dried, and pressed into a page, long before it could ever know that it would become a story. As I touch its spine, I fall a little bit in love. As I touch its cover, I want to know that I am worthy. As I hook my fingers into the page and binding, I catch Aristotle's eye. His whiskers are vibrating. Thank you so much for listening to the first chapter of my book, The Cottage, and I hope you enjoyed also the process of my illustrations. Please like, subscribe, and come back for some more. I promise to have more chapters.